All right, everyone. Good evening. My name is Cindy. If you're just tuning in and haven't seen any of my other talks, I've got quite a few out there. And every week on Monday nights at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, I am talking live. And if you obviously can't make it live, that's okay, because they're always out on my YouTube channel afterwards. But if you can, that's even better, because one of the things I do at the end is if anybody has any questions, you can go to the chat, and you can get your answers to your questions that you might have. So tonight, what I'm going to talk about, this is the continuation of bone-friendly foods. But before we get started, and tonight I want to talk about pH balanced diets. But before we start that, I just wanted to clarify something in part 2 from last week's talk. I appreciate people getting back to me and giving me feedback. And I heard from a person that currently has kidney stones. And so she wanted me to clarify something. And I think that it's important for me to clarify in my talk last week. So this is what she's saying, is that it is true. I did say last week about macadamia nuts being low in oxalates. And she's saying that is true. Macadamia nuts are lower than some other nuts. However, she was told by her doctor that all nuts do have some oxalate in them. And if a person has problems with kidney stones, you should be limiting your nuts to no more than 1 ounce a day. So that was one thing that she recommended that I clarify. The second thing is that yes, kale is lower than, say, spinach and Swiss chard, but it's not one of the lowest. And so she wanted me to clarify that as well. Here's the bottom line when it comes to this. If you have a history of kidney stones, then by all means, be talking to your doctor and ask them, what foods should you stay away from? What foods are going to perpetuate kidney stones? Because here's the thing, everybody's a little bit different, and what works for one person may not work for another. So please work with your doctor if you have or have had kidney stones. With that being said, one of the things that I'll introduce to you, some of you may not know this, but first of all, I'm not a doctor. I don't pretend to be a doctor. But I've gone through quite a few different types of seminars, workshops, different certifications for health and nutrition, well-being, that sort of thing. I went through a course a few years back called Food Healing. And what that course does is it basically gives you, and you test out of it on different foods and supplements that work to reverse certain illnesses and diseases. And one of the books that you study profusely is this book right here. It's pretty thick. It's called Conquering Any Disease, and it's part of the curriculum. And wanted to read a little bit about what this book is about. So Conquering Any Disease is endorsed by top surgeons and doctors who have recommended these food protocols to help reverse disease naturally. At the back of the book is an extensive glossary of food, phytochemicals, and fatty acids that will elevate your understanding of nutrition to the next level. And so this book is over 300 pages. It weighs about, literally, it weighs about 2 pounds. It's heavy. And it is a textbook when it comes to different types of protocols and healing them naturally through food and through supplements. Anybody can buy this book. You don't have to go through the course to buy the book. However, it is expensive. I just, like 10 minutes before I got on, I popped on Amazon just to see, because the price kind of changes every once in a while. It's available 3 different ways. So I've got the hardback copy, hard copy here, and it was $161 on Amazon. That's for hardcover. Kindle is $50 if you want the Kindle version, and they also have the author makes a spinal or a spiral, not spinal, a spiral type backing, but that's like 200 and some. I don't know if I can see it here. No, it's not listed on this one, but I know that there is a spiral type backing, but it's like over $200. Certainly, if you're really into food protocols, you can certainly, again, you can buy this. You don't have to go through the course. One of the protocols in here is osteoporosis. I do have a program specifically for osteoporosis that includes a protocol. It's a little bit different. It includes a few things that this doesn't have in it. But with that being said, one of the main reasons why I wanted to bring this up is because there is a protocol for kidney stones in here. So I wanted to read what, and again, this is backed by surgeons and doctors. And this protocol is specifically for kidney stones. So I'm going to read directly from the book. I have seen all manner of kidney stones dissolved using this protocol, regardless of which type of stone. If you already have had previous kidney stones, you should limit foods rich in oxalates, such as meats, chicken, and pickled fish. Other foods to avoid include chocolate, cooked spinach, cooked beets, chard, and rhubarb. Studies show that the greatest factor of reducing the incidence of kidney stones is a diet low in animal protein. And I am going to talk tonight about pH balanced diet. So you're going to hear more about animal protein in just a bit. Consider going vegetarian for a few months if you suspect that you have kidney stones. This allows kidneys to cleanse, lightening the detox burden. For any kidney disease, your primary support food is watermelon. It is a powerful diuretic, and I've seen it reverse the most chronic kidney stones as well as weak urinary flow in cases of enlarged prostate. This includes producing a stronger, more steady flow of urine, dissolving all, he's got that in all caps, all of different types of kidney stones. He calls this the watermelon kidney stone flush. The key lies in fasting or not eating much while taking in large quantities of watermelon via smoothie or just simply eating it. Buy a few large watermelons, eating frequently throughout the day. Alternately, you can blend the red and white part of the watermelon to make 64 ounces of juice each day. Do this for 5 to 7 days to pass the stones. Many people using this method have passed large stones in days without any supplements. There is no medical study that he shows. A lot of this book he substantiates with medical studies, research, that sort of thing. This one does not have that. However, there was a testimonial in here. For the last 15 years, I've struggled with horrible kidney stones and had numerous surgeries. These procedures left my ability to urinate correctly crippled. After learning about this food healing system, I read about watermelon being good for dissolving kidney stones and restoring the urinary system. The first week I began drinking watermelon smoothies, my urine flow increased tenfold from a trickle to a fire hose. Explanation point. I passed numerous small stones that came out easily. For the last 2 years, I have had no kidney stones and all is flowing well. So a little bit on kidney stones. Again, there's 70 different protocols that are done naturally by food and supplements in this book. So just an FYI. So moving forward, let's talk a little bit about pH balanced diets. So this isn't just for osteoporosis. This is really, in my opinion, this should be like everybody, instead of the standard American diet, the SAD diet that some people call. Instead of doing that, really, I feel it's in everybody's best interest to practice a pH balanced diet. So what does that mean and why? So first of all, a little bit about pH and alkaline versus acidic. So there's this scale, and all foods and beverages have a pH level. Some are very acidic. And an acidic food or drink or something like that, very acidic, would be like a 1, a 2, a 3, all the way up to about 5 or 6. You've got this medium area here that starts at, I would say, around 5, 6, and then goes up to maybe like 8, right? Our body, the pH level in our blood needs to be at around 7.2 pH. If it goes up a lot or it goes down a lot, you actually will die. And so your body is very, very smart in keeping this level of pH at about a 7.2 level at all times. The alkaline side, we start, this medium part, right, at about 6 or so and goes up to 8. So anything above that is what we call very alkaline. And the scale starts at 0, goes all the way up to 10, right? So something that's a 10, for instance, zinc, the mineral zinc, ZINC, is a 10. Calcium, very alkaline. Magnesium, very alkaline. So a lot of your minerals are actually very alkaline. And especially when it comes to bone health, we know calcium, magnesium, and zinc, believe it or not, are very, very good for bone health. And so we have a tendency to move towards that alkaline way of being. Now, there are folks that swear that a pH balanced diet is really, really needed and necessary for good bone health and building bone. Others will say it has nothing to do with it. You're going to find all kinds of things out there on the internet saying one thing or the other. Here's my take on it. Just forget about the fact that your body has to stay at the 7.2 level when your pH level. Just don't even think about that. Let's think about the foods that are more on the alkaline side. Guess what? They're all plant-based. So what does that mean? So you think about the standard American diet, which is processed foods. It's going to be very acidic. You think about your animal products. Animal products are more on the acidic side. Already read something in this Conquering Any Disease book that says if you have kidney stones, don't be eating a lot of animal protein. Why? Because it makes your kidneys work harder. So whether you believe or not that a pH balanced diet is good for osteoporosis or not, in my opinion, because it's mostly a plant-based diet, doesn't matter if it's osteoporosis, if you're susceptible to, say, other diseases, like maybe even cancer, high blood pressure, heart disease, all of these different types of diseases and conditions that are out there. Let's face it, more of a plant-based diet is going to be better for you than, say, the standard American diet, the processed foods, the more acidic foods, very high in animal proteins. So just as a baseline, I think that it's good for everyone to have a more plant-based diet. One of the questions that I get is, though, do I have to be a vegetarian or a vegan? And my answer to that is absolutely not. In fact, next week I'm going to talk about the differences and why it might not be appropriate for you to be vegan or be vegetarian. But for tonight, one thing to keep in mind, and I tell this to all my clients, think of the 80-20 rule when it comes to plant-based foods versus animal-based foods. Think of the 80-20 rule. When you look at your plate, 80%, try to get 80% of that plant-based. So fruits, vegetables, grains, beans, all of your plant-based, right? 80%. And then 20% comes from the animal, and mostly it's going to be protein. So we're talking 3, maybe 5 ounces of an animal protein with your meal. The rest of your plate being the animal, or the plant-based. So again, whether you really think that the pH balanced diet will help with osteoporosis or not, there is this philosophy out there. And again, you're going to hear all kinds of different things. You're going to see and read a lot of different things out there. But there is one philosophy that says that in order for your body to maintain that 7.2 pH level in your blood, one of the ways that it does that is it takes some of the different alkaline minerals out of your bones and different things in order to alkaline the blood. Again, some people, doctors will say, yes, that's true. There's others that say, no, it isn't. So whether you believe that or not, again, I really think it's important for everyone to get their vegetables, their fruits, other plant-based foods, and not eat as much of the protein, especially for kidney type issues. Because if you've noticed in the last, I would say 20 years, there's a lot more like kidney disease, cancer of the kidneys and liver, and you have to ask why. And I think one reason is because obviously there's more processed foods being eaten. But the other thing is that there's a lot of these high protein diets, right? We have, first it was Atkins, then it was South Beach, and then it was keto and paleo. And a lot of these diets are very, very high in animal proteins. And we've seen in the last 20 years a rise in kidney issues, kidney diseases, liver diseases, cancer of the liver, cancer of the kidneys. And so one of the reasons why I think that may be, and it's just, something that I've read over and over again, that eating a lot of animal protein is very, very hard on your kidneys and on your liver. It can't function as effectively. And so that inability to function is going to start giving you some results that you may not want as far as your overall health. So that's my talk for tonight on pH and getting more of a plant-based diet. Again, bottom line is this: use the 80-20 rule when it comes to plants versus animal foods. So with that, is there any questions? Let's see here. I got not seeing any questions here. All right. Okay, so that is it for tonight. Again, next week I'm going to talk about vegetarian, vegan, pros, cons, why it may not be for some people. I'll also talk about a few nutrients that if you decide to go fully vegetarian or vegan, there are some supplements that you probably want to take because it's going to be really, really difficult, almost impossible to get those through food. So that's what our topic is going to be for next week. Thank you for listening. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. You'll get notified when I have new videos that come out, and you'll also be notified of the live chats that I do. So thank you so much again for joining me. And if you have suggestions, feedback, you want me to talk about certain topics in the future, please let me know. I'm always open to feedback. Thank you so much.